haters, get your fingers poised over those keyboards. This is going to be another installment of the MSK1 Survival Knife System video series. This time we're going to take a look at the MSK1 Mini. That's what's coming up next here on Survival on Purpose. Welcome back to Survival on Purpose, your home for information and gear reviews related to camping, survival, and general preparedness for regular folks. My name is Brian. Thanks for joining me and the neighbor's dogs. They are in fine form today, by the way, so I'm sorry. So anyway, as I said, this is going to be another installment in the MSK1 in the MSK1 Survival Knife System video series. And David from Ultimate Survival Tips was kind enough to basically to hook me up with his complete survival system from MSK1 Survival System, so I could do a long-term evaluation of it. And honestly, if you follow knife stuff on the internet and on YouTube, you probably know that there's like just so much drama surrounding this knife. And I've said it before, I'll keep saying it. Primarily, it seems to be based upon two things. One was his really well-produced, I guess, promo video for the knife for his Kickstarter, and the price of this thing, because the system, the total system, as you see right here, is about 500 bucks. The knife itself is available for just over, like, around right at 300, and it comes with several different components in the whole system. So anyway, we've done a few videos already. We looked at just kind of an introductory video, did a bow drill fire, just happened to be using this, did a looked at the survival kit that's in the handle. Today we're going to look at another component of the of this complete kit here, and that is the MSK1 Mini. And I've actually got another a neck knife version of it here, which is the same exact knife. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. And I will take you down to the old stump top in just a minute. We're going to do some knife stuff, and then we're also going to probably go to the old balance, orientation, and rotation device and check out the balance of this thing, because you know me. So anyway, first let's talk about one thing I think that's come up on several videos, and I want to just go ahead and completely, totally clear it up for you, okay? And concerning both of these knives, actually, concerning both the full-size MSK1 and the neck knife. And I had a lot of people say, based upon some videos they saw from another YouTuber, and also I think honestly based upon maybe the initial run of these, that this is a hollow ground knife. And for people hate hollow ground knives for whatever reason. I think they'd hate this knife no matter what. But anyway, the current production models and the one that I've got, and it wasn't like they didn't run a special run to give me a knife, okay? This is just, he picked one out of the stock he had for sale at Blade Show. This is not a hollow grind, and let me just, hopefully I don't shake the tripod too badly here, but and I've got a straight edge here, which this is actually the striker from a strayed ferro rod. I just want to show you where you can see this. If it was a hollow grind, there would be a space underneath that flat edge there, because the hollow ground would have a concave angle in it. And you can see as I run this thing all the way down the knife, there is no space there. It is completely 100% there it is, a saber grind. And turn it over. Look, I didn't modify this or anything to trick you. It really, it's just not a hollow grind. And I think on my first video, I may have even kind of muddied the waters, because I said it looked like it might be a slight hollow grind, but honestly what I was looking at was this curve here from the where the choil is, and that's just because of the way this thing is flares out here. It makes it look like it's got some concavity to it. But as you can plainly see, all the way up to the point of where the choil starts, it is absolutely, you can plainly see that it's completely flat. It's not a hollow grind. It is a saber grind with a 19-degree secondary bevel. So if you use some sort of sharpening system that's got, you can really set the angle. It's a 19-degree secondary bevel. David told me that's the combination that he found and they found during the testing that seemed to work the best, and it keeps it easy to sharpen in the field, which is another potential complaint that people have had about the D2 steel that's used in the main big knife, that it's too hard to sharpen. And we're going to talk about that in a different video. That's not the purpose of this video, but I just want to show you also the MSK1 Mini is also not a hollow grind. there it is on it. You can see that it's absolutely 100% flat all the way in. So it's a saber grind. I think it's the same 19 degrees. I'm not sure about that, but I just wanted to clear that little maybe some confusion up and set the record straight on that. Not a hollow grind, not a hollow grind. So if you can leave a nasty comment saying it's a horrible D2 hollow grind knife, you didn't watch the video and you didn't see, because it's not a hollow grind. Okay, so there's that. You wouldn't do that, but some people might. So anyway, let's talk about this knife. So this is about a 3-inch cutting surface on this blade. This is made of 154 cm, so it's kind of a stainless knife. And you can see right there, hopefully you can see that, it says it is made in the USA. This entire system is made in the USA. I think that's pretty cool myself. It's kind of a clip point design, very small, skeleton handle. The knife itself also comes with a paracord wrap and a little 2-inch fire steel ferro rod that fits right inside here if you choose to do that. This is how the plain knife comes, and you can wrap it or not. So it is really very sharp. It also comes, it's got a little bit of jimping here and here, but it's the kind of jimping that I don't mind. Not a big fan of jimping usually, but it does seem to come in handy right here. The thing really does fit in your hand pretty well. I wear medium-sized gloves. Aaron, if you're listening, if you're watching Gideon's Tactical, but it kind of fits in good. It's not too small to get a good usable grip on it, but it's small enough to be, very handy and for detailed tasks, or just to not take up a lot of room, or to function as a neck knife. And then at the very end of the knife, the butt end, it's sharpened to a 90-degree angle, so you can strike a ferro rod or scrape tinder or whatever else you need to do. So in addition to being part of the Ultimate Survival package, this knife is also available as a standalone purchase, and basically $120. For the $120, you get the 100% USA made 154 cm knife. You get the paracord wrapping with 2-inch ferro rod. You get a sheath. It's got 2 of the bolts on it, the Chicago screw type bolts to bolt it onto whatever other sheath that'll fit on. Any of the Ultimate Survival Tip sheaths it will fit on. And you get a lanyard with a breakaway buckle on it for safety, hasp or whatever you want to call it. And so if you want to use it for a neck knife, or you can bolt it onto your sheath, or whatever you want to do. So that's pretty much the details and kind of the facts about the knife. Let's take it down to the old stump top, and we'll do some of that knife stuff, and then we'll check the balance on this thing and we'll wrap it up. Okay, so just if you didn't see the first ones, here's a quick shot of the entire kit with the MSK1 Mini mounted on the side of this hybrid sheath that is available. We'll just pull it out and use it. We're going to do pretty much standard knife stuff with it, like I would always do, but because it's a full tang knife, this is kind of absorbing some of the energy, but we're going to do it anyway. My old baton there, and just see if we can split this out a little bit, get down to something a little bit drier maybe. That and try we're going to try some feathers, because I like carving feathers, and this seems like a pretty good knife to carve with. So let's just see what happens. This 19-degree bevel. Sometimes the cedar is harder to carve, especially this red part inside. It gets pretty hard sometimes. You get down to the old whiter, softer part on the outside, it's a little easier to carve on. A little bit of harder carving with it, maybe. I really don't want to lose all this, because I'm going to use it for fuel for a potential fire. So we'll just put it right there like that. Put that right there like that, and we'll try some feathers on the softer, whiter part. So hopefully you can see that. Some pretty cool little feathers right there. I'm going to use the ferro rod that comes with the system, and I've used the heck out of this one for last camp out. And this is actually made by Andy at Solo Scientific, who are the people that make Aurora Fire Steel. So another U.S. product, but we're going to just take this cedar here. We notice there's an absence of one of my favorite things here. We're going to try it without that first. I'm trying to do the old pull away because everybody tells me to do, because it is kind of short and it is kind of hard to, without knocking it around like that, right? So try to do the pull away. I'm not real good at the pull away, especially on the end here. And we finally got it. And no fat wood involved there. But man, that smells so good. Speaking of fat wood, I just happen to have the old fat wood slab that's been laying out here literally in the wood, in the weather for, I don't know, 3 years, something like that. And what would a knife video be without some fat wood, right? So we're just gonna carve us off a little fat wood just because I like it. See, if you'll notice, we're getting some of the oxidized part that's been out here forever. Some little curls here. And then the trick is going to be to get some of this right here. It does scrape the heck out of this fat wood and does a really good job of that. Got that there. Put that down there like so. Now we'll take this and we'll do this. Let's see if I can brace this thing down and just go ahead and I'm knocking it around because of this stump top mess I got going here. So let's just try it like that. Bracing is always a good thing. So there's that. I gotta say, obviously there's a really sharp spine there, does a good job. Spine, I guess it's not really the spine, it's a sharp pommel. And then as far as how it feels with or without the paracord, feels a little better obviously with the paracord, but not a tremendous difference. As far as for doing smaller tasks, this is kind of, it's small enough where if you need to do some, like, you know, pushing with your thumb, control cuts like that, you can do pretty good. You can really get even down to the very point here. You can get some really good control on it like that. You know, maybe you're trying to carve out a spoon or something. I don't know. I'm not really good at that spoon carving thing, but this is it's got enough of a tip on it, sharpness on it. You can kind of get inside there, create a little concavity, so to speak, and really the back of it not being sharpened using this part for your striking area does make it a lot more comfortable for doing push cuts and stuff like that. Okay, well, that was some of the practical tests of the MSK1 Mini. And before we start the scientific testing, let me go ahead and just kind of give you my thoughts about that. I used the one without the wrap on it just to see how comfortable it was to use. And really, it's just, I don't know if it's this little swell or the way these are all rounded. There's not really sharp there. Really, the only thing sharp on this thing, other than the blade, of course, is the pommel. So it is pretty comfortable in your hand. The jimping right here is just subdued enough to be very comfortable. Doesn't bother you, but it does. I can see where it can come in kind of helpful. And then I like the fact that it's kind of rounded here, tapered down, where you can do push cutting with your other thumb if you want to. It's a big enough handle where you can use that. Honestly, for me, I'm so used to doing it this way. It's a little bit awkward, but it does get the job done. When I finally figured out to brace the tip of this thing and just pull it, then it worked a lot better. I like the fact that it has the option to wrap it, and you can actually put that little ferro rod in here, so you got a way to keep a little mini fire kit right here, at least a knife and a ferro rod, which I think are two of the most important things you can have in the woods. And then this breakaway necklace is pretty good because it gives you enough enough tension to stay, but if you get caught on a branch or whatever, it's not going to choke you, right? So I like the fact that it is made in the USA, of course. So, but practical testing is important. But you may know that here at Survival on Purpose Worldwide headquarters, we maintain a state-of-the-art, cutting-edge knife testing facility. And one of the tests we like to put all fixed blades through is the balance test, using the balance orientation and rotation device there. Now, let me just start this entire this little segment by saying that, like many other high-end knife manufacturers, the MSK1 Mini and MSK1 are not throwing knives. They're not rated for throwing. They're not guaranteed against throwing. Neither is tops or a lot of other knives. So I say under no circumstances should you ever throw a knife of any kind, especially not one of these. But we are going to do some scientific testing here, so let's get to it. Ooh, the sun is in my eyeballs. Ooh, like I said, the sun is in my eyeballs. Let me see if I can get in the shades or something. Oh my gosh, maybe they were right. Wait, that's all good. Okay, we're going to call it balance. Anyway, that's the scientific testing portion of the video. Like I said in the beginning, I know there are people who are going to hate this, anything to do with this knife or whatever. Feel free to leave your comments below. I will caution you, I've got some pretty restrictive profanity filters in place. Even very minor profanity is going to cause your comment to not be displayed, so we cannot engage in a conversation. Otherwise, I'm happy to engage you in a conversation, but you know what? If all you got to do is just trash it and call people names, I'm probably not going to bother to respond to that, because that is not a very productive discussion. If you want to talk about the actual features of the knife, or the actual, what you saw in this video performance-wise, be happy to talk about that. If all you want to do is just throw names and trash and make unfounded accusations, what's the point, right? Anyway, that is the MSK1 Mini from David at Ultimate Survival Tips. It's either available as part of a package or a standalone and as a neck knife. By the way, you can also, if you've already got the package, you got the knife, and you just wanted an extra sheath so you can have the opportunity to use it for a neck knife or put it on the other sheath, get this sheath for like 15 bucks, so that's not a bad deal there. So anyway, stay tuned for further upcoming installments of the MSK1 series. Like I said, I'm going to use this thing for quite a while, long term. I'm going to try to do a long-term evaluation of it, just to see how well it stands up, and so hopefully you can see how well it stands up, and you can make an informed decision for yourself as to whether or not you think this knife is a good knife, or if it's a gimmick like some people are saying. So anyway, and I'll have to say, a lot of those people are just parroting what they've read on the internet, which is par for the course with the internet, right? So anyway, once again, thanks to David at Ultimate Survival Tips for hooking me up with this system and these knives so I can test them and evaluate them and show them to you. And as always, thank you for watching Survival on Purpose. I put out a brand new video every Friday and Saturday, and very often random videos throughout the week. There's another one right there, and if you're not subscribed, click right down there in the corner, click that subscribe button, click that little notification bell so you don't miss a single video. I really appreciate the support. Once again, my name's Brian. You're watching Survival on Purpose. Remember, survival's not an accident. So be prepared. I'll see you next time.